My name is Craig Joseph. I'm the owner of Houston's This Is It Soul Food. I am the grandson of the founders, Frank and Maddie Jones.
That's amazing. So tell us a little bit about the history of This Is It.
This Is It started in 1959. Location was 1003 Andrews at Buckner in Freedmanstown. And my grandparents were kind of searching for a location to start his restaurant. And they stopped at the corner of Andrews and Buckner, and my grandmother said, "This is it." And he said, "This is what?" She said, "This is where we're gonna start the restaurant." And so history began. It was an old wood frame house. So they went in and knocked the walls out of the house, made that the dining room. They converted the garage into a kitchen. And that's how This Is It started. And so he said, "Well, since you said this is it, we're gonna name the business This Is It." And so that's how we got the name This Is It.
And look, this is it, because I'm always trying to eat the food. Okay. Thank you for that. And can you talk a little bit about the area? I know you mentioned Freedmanstown, like where it was originally located, and now you're in Third Ward. So can you talk a little bit about like why you all moved to this area?
When we started the business, of course, in '59, we were there for 22 years. My grandparents always leased out, and so from a landlord. And from 82 to 1994, they moved at 239 West Gray, and they were still leasing. And we had a fire in 1993 and 94, just right after they shot the movie, Jason's Lyrics. And when my grandfather was about to retire, a gentleman wanted to, basically buy him out. And I told my grandfather I didn't agree with the asking price of selling it. I said, "So teach me the business, because I'd rather see us lose it than give it away." And so that's when he taught me the business, how to cook, basically. Taught me the business. And when I assumed the business in '94, that's when I purchased properties. And so my goal was to kind of let them see the fruits of their labor. And so by them never being a property owner, I was able to acquire some property at 207 Gray, which was across the street from the house that my grandparents raised me up in. And so at that point, we were there from 1994 into 2010. But of course, in 1994, property taxes were around $9,500 a year. Well, in 2010, property taxes was $52,000 a year. And so basically we were being taxed out because if you've seen in Midtown, they built a lot of high-rise apartments, condominiums, a lot of social life is there now. So it made my property taxes go up, but the other people had tax abatement, so they had to pay taxes. And so instead of being profitable, we saw ourselves just basically working to pay taxes. And so here at where we are now was a soul food restaurant by the name of Family Cafe. And so when she was about to go out of business, she reached out to me and asked me would I be interested in this location. Basically saying, "Do you want to have two buildings or two locations?" And I told her, "Well, I'm interested." So I came and checked it out, and I thought it was more advantageous for me to take this building, and leave that, which property taxes are different. As a matter of fact, I went from 52,000 to 16,000, and so it made more business sense for me to come here than to stay there, because eventually I would have probably ended up out of business trying to keep up with the tax situation there. So that's how we moved to 2712 Blodgett here in the Third Ward area. And there's only like a 4.5-mile radius from each location. So we were still basically staying at home. We was leaving from one neighborhood to come to another. So the culture never really changed. So it was like home, moving to home.
Oh, I'm telling you, this is off the record. That's so inspiring, and that's amazing that person reached out to you, and encouraged you to do that. It's just so powerful. Like I love that self-determination and the fact that you decided to keep the business going. That's inspiration for the whole community, really, for real. And that's off the record, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell everybody that in real life too. So thank you for that. So you kind of answered that next question, but I know you mentioned Jason's lyrics. So can you explain? You know, I don't know. Have you seen Jason's lyrics? I don't know if everybody have seen it. I mean, I know I grew up watching it, but I'm older than people, so you know, maybe talk a little bit about the movie and y'all's feature in it.
Yeah, back in 1994, you know, everything happens for a reason. And I pulled up at the restaurant on Gray Street, and the gentleman walked out, had on some cut-off short pants, a tank top, flip-flops, and a briefcase. And he apparently Dad told him that was me just driving up. And when I got out of my truck, the guy said, "Hey, would you like to have your restaurant in a movie?" And I said, yeah, right. You know, here we go. You know, somebody trying to sell me something. And I said, no, seriously, we kind of went through the whole city, did a survey. We're about to feature this movie. The name is Jason's Lyric, and we thought that your restaurant would fit very well in our scene, in the restaurant scene. So I said, oh, this guy's serious. And so he opened up his briefcase, and here we have all these contracts and paperwork. And so I said, well, great. He said, now, we'll probably need your business for about 7 days, but if you're willing, we sure like to have you in there. And so I said, well, sure. You know, that was free advertisement, you know. And I didn't, you know, a lot of people said, well, how much did you get paid and all this kind of stuff? I mean, I didn't know anything about that, but he said, look, whatever your highest revenue is, that whatever day it may be, we'll pay that every day for you while we're closed. So I said, well, I'll take that, you know, I mean, and then getting national exposure, worldwide exposure. So you can't, it was priceless. So we signed the contract and boom, we was in the movie.
I love that. I'm like, you gotta watch that. I'm like, my dad was like, that's down the street.
Yeah.
Pointing that out. And that movie is good too. And they got Fifth Ward in that movie too, I think, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen it. That's really cool. Oh, somebody come up to me asking me to be in a movie. Like, okay, sure. Okay, so that's that. So we covered actually most of the questions. You talked about a little bit about what purpose it serves in the community, but I wanted to see if you want to elaborate on that in any way.
This Is It has been I call it an institution. There are restaurants all over the city. Matter of fact, there are about 28,000 restaurants in Houston. But This Is It to me is an institution because it's a place where you can grow people. We give opportunities that some people would not give our employees. We even we've had employees that's been incarcerated that we brought back not 1, 2, 3, 4 times, you know, because they're good people. It just happened to get caught up in bad situations. But we see that there is a quality because we feel like if we throw them away, they're going to go out there and it's going to get worse, you know, because nobody else is receiving them or accepting them. So we've been able to give back to the community in terms of employment. We presently have 21 employees. We've always had between 18 to 21, 22 employees. And all our employees are from the community. Matter of fact, mentioning that I was the 3rd generation, which now my kids are doing, which is 4 generations. But I have a couple of employees that are 2nd generations to previous employees that we've had. So, because we've had employees 46 years. You know, we have right now 2 that's been here 35 years and one's been here 39 years, still working today. She's 72 and one is like 66, but going strong. But now, we had one retired last year. Actually 2 years ago, she had been here 44 years. Now her daughter is here. And she basically just passed on that tradition and said, look, you represent me because name means something. And so the people that work for us are from the community. So we give back that way. We give back to the educational programs, the schools, just people that we see on the street. If they come in, we don't have a problem feeding them, you know. So it's just a way of staying viable in the community, letting the people know that we're not just for us, but we're for them as well. We've tried to to always be. I mean, that's how I was raised. I saw it, so it wasn't something that I was just trying to do. I was brought up that way because I seen and experienced it, so I kept that type of tradition going, you know. And because if you've been here, this is it, and our age, the age span is like from kids request from age 2 to come to this is it when they, you know, some kids want to go to McDonald's, but from 2 to 90+ years old, that's a testament of your business and the character of your business. And so we try to stay humble. You know, it's not. Well, I have a T-shirt that with this logo and on the back it says it's not about me. It's not. You know, it's about the community, because without be it third ward, fourth ward, or surrounding communities, there would be no this is it. You know, and so we don't take for granted that people want to come here. We just be happy when they do, and we try to do the very best that we can when they do. That I am still grateful for is that thus far we've survived COVID. A lot of businesses have gone out of business because of COVID, because, you know, the prices are astronomical right now on everything. We had to increase prices in some areas, not because we wanted to, but because we were forced to, in order to keep up with what's going on right now in terms of pricing in the community as well as nationwide. But that's a shout out to the customers for keeping us going, to still be standing strong during tough times like this. So just thanking the customers for that. And then, you know, the fact that I have my son-in-law, Thaddeus Wesley, my son, Christopher and Jessica, my daughter, stepped in, not because I forced them to, but because they wanted to. You know, they wanted to let their parents sit back and do the same thing I did for my parents and my grandparents, because my mother was a viable part of the business, and now my dad helps me, but my grandparents were, you know, I mean, people don't know this. My grandfather built This Is It on a 3rd grade education. He couldn't read, he couldn't write, and I'm not ashamed to say that because I know the character that he had. But my grandmother was the behind the scenes person that, or the upfront person that did the business side of it. But he stressed the education, but he had none, because, you know, back in those times, you had to do what you had to do. And but anyway, he built, that's why I call it an institute. He built something. If he can build something in a 3rd grade education and it's still standing 63 years later, the man was, he was a genius. Something, he knew something. And God blessed him with the gift to cook. He brought that gift, and now people have been able to enjoy that from him, through me, now through my kids, and hopefully through their kids. So even in times like this, you know, 63 years says a lot. So being as Black History Month, that's Black history. You know, that's Black history. So I can say we are Black history, even if it's not in the books. We're Black history.
But it's about to be in this book.
But you can reach us, like again, at 2712 Blodgett Street, Houston, Texas, 77004. Phone number is 713-521-2920. If you need to fax something in, 713-521-3344. You can go to our social media page. You can get us on our website at www.houstondisisit.com. Go to info@houstondisisit.com. You can go on Yelp and all the social media gadgets that you can go to reach us. And again, we just right here in the heart of 3rd Ward, 2 blocks west of Texas Southern University. All this Black history is all around us. Just come and see us. We serve oxtails. We sold 3,800 pounds of chitlins on New Year's Day. We have delicious meatloaf, fried chicken, fried fish, yams, cabbage, macaroni and cheese, which we win every year in the macaroni and cheese contest, and to die for a peach cobbler, and seafood gumbo on Fridays. You name it, we can do it. So come to This Is It Soul Food, Houston's This Is It Soul Food, where we said that you come once, you come for life.